As the world rallies around Bharat, United States has emerged one of the major global powers that have expressed strong support for India. In the wake of the horrific Pahalgam massacre, the U.S. President Donald Trump vowed to stand firmly with India, with U.S. lawmakers also who have come out to say and have urged the Trump government to support India's counter-terror operations. In their letter to the U.S. Secretary of State, they have called for destroying the terror axis. Watch this exclusive interaction of Group Editor-in-Chief Navika Kumar with Rich McCormick.
And joining me tonight is Dr. Rich McCormick, co-chair of the India caucus in the U.S. House of Representatives. He is also a decorated veteran and emergency room physician who proudly serves Georgia's 7th Congressional District in the United States House of Representatives. And good evening, Dr. McCormick. My question to you straight off the bat is, where does America stand on this very, very sensitive issue that is generating heat on the Indo-Pakistan borders?
Yeah, it shouldn't be controversial. It's very much straightforward to me. When terrorists attack innocent people, the world should condemn it. It doesn't matter if you're the government from Pakistan or the United States or anywhere else in the world. Nobody should ever accept terrorists who are extremists, who are fundamentalists from a religion, saying that religion should be violent towards innocent people, no matter what their background is. If you think about it, these people would kill you, not just if you're Hindu or you're a Christian, even if you're a Muslim from a different sect, they will kill you because that's the kind of people they are. They are pure evil. The God that they're following is not a God. They are following something as evil as it gets. When you can justify killing women and children because you belong to a religion, that religion should be condemned inside of that sect. I don't think they represent their entire religion, but those people should be condemned by the Pakistani government, as well as the United States government, as well as the Indian government, and everybody else with any common sense around the world.
But Dr. McCormick, Pakistan is in a state of denial. It has been, ever since I can remember, whether it was Osama bin Laden, whether it is the terror networks operating like the Jaish-e-Mohammed, the Lashkar-e-Toiba. Pakistan has always been in denial, as it is today. Even after 28 tourists, very, very innocent tourists were actually in Pahalgam in Jammu and Kashmir. Pakistan still continues to have the denial as its best form of defense. Do you think this is believable by the world community at large?
I think they have a choice. I think the best way to deny something is condemn it. You don't have to say that you're responsible for it. You don't have to claim responsibility for harboring those people. But what you can do is pretty simple. You say, that is evil. That is wrong. We do not support that. And if we find it in Pakistan, we'll root it out and we'll destroy it. That's a strong statement against something that's very evil. If you say something like, well, we didn't have anything to do with it, or if you say like one of their defense minister or somebody said that we are doing the dirty work for the United States, that is not acceptable. Don't ever put that on the United States. The United States would never support Muslim violent extremists attacking people in any part of the world, because we have the same problem here. As a matter of fact, we've fought against that for decades now. That is an insulting insinuation, and it should be condemned by the United States government, first of all, and the Pakistani government. The head of Pakistan should be saying that is ridiculous. We would never infer that about the United States, and we'll never support a terrorist regime. We should always condemn it and root it out at its face. And that's the only thing that they should be saying.
But nobody has denied it. In fact, their defense minister, Khwaja Asif, has said that not just the United States, it is the United Kingdom for which they do this as job work. That interview is not to an Indian channel. It is to Sky News, a British channel. And there is no denial coming in from any level of the government in Pakistan. So do you think condemnation is enough when there is confession of this kind that is staring at us?
First of all, I think that statement is objectionable at the very least. I think it should be addressed from the top levels of the Pakistani government to clarify. And until they clarify it, there should be there should be, how should I say, I don't want to get too strongly worded in this, but basically that should never be accepted as a statement from their government, and it should never be accepted by us. That to me is a ridiculous statement. It's an outrageous statement. It's an insulting statement. I think Secretary of State should actually address it.
But we haven't heard United States of America taking objection to that. And so far, while in 2016 and 2019, when India had to take limited retaliatory military action, there was American support. How's the situation today if India was to exercise that option?
Well, I think President Trump's been very clear that he stands with India and against something that's very evil, against terrorism. I think the United States has been very clear on their stance against terrorism. I think we have helped other people in coordination with intelligence gathering, which I think we'll continue to do, to root out these terrorist cells, because they are coordinating, whether it be Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis, you name anything that anywhere around the world, we should be coordinating our efforts to destroy and root out these evil terrorist groups that are coordinating with each other. And I think you'll continue to see United States and India draw closer, not just economically, but also strategically when it comes to going against evil regimes.
But many people see President Trump's statement as a little ambiguous, because his statement said, I'm close to India and I'm close to Pakistan. They've had this fight for 1,000 years in Kashmir. That doesn't quite convey the fact that, India is the wrong party and Pakistan is the country that has been exporting terror for the longest time.
It doesn't benefit India to alienate Pakistan from the United States. It doesn't. It actually pushes them in the arms of China, Russia, Iran. They will always be looking for allies. And if the United States is not influential in a very positive way, it will actually be very detrimental to India. India has to deal with Pakistan. When I was in India, they're getting ready to play Pakistan in cricket. So there are relationships that have been frosty for a long time. And of course, there's the religious ideology that actually confers another level of distrust between two essentially superpowers. But it doesn't help if the United States says, I don't want to be friends with Pakistan, I'm only going to be friends with India. That doesn't help India. We have to make sure that a nuclear power that can be unstable at times, that has Muslim fundamentalists who actually would love to overthrow their own government, who would love to make it a theocracy, to love to make it into another Iran. We need to make sure that doesn't happen. And I think if we alienate them, that's not going to help anybody. So we have to be careful not to, and I've had the ambassador from Pakistan in my office. I've talked to him about rhetoric. I've talked to him about the future. I've talked to him about India. I've talked to him about the borders. I've talked to him about Kashmir. And I think they're saying the right things, at least behind closed doors. And I hope we can work to those ends. If I say that Pakistan as a country is evil and that we're going to work against them, that's only going to escalate violence. It's only going to escalate a destabilization of that region. We have to work with both countries. Obviously, we think what happened in India was not anything that India did, and India shouldn't be held responsible. They do have the right to defend themselves. But we have to be careful not to alienate Pakistan so that they become a bigger problem instead of a less problem.
And where do you see China in this very, very twisted equation that exists?
So China's always looking for ways to destabilize because they want the United States to be supplanted by themselves, both economically, militarily. They obviously want to take over Taiwan. Xi Jinping has actually said that by 2027 that they're going to take over Taiwan. I think the government last elections are going to be contrary to that. I think it's very difficult to do an amphibious assault over that area into a very large landmass. But they could do it by leveling the country, and the economic impact and the world destabilization would be crippling to the world's economy. So I hope they don't. But they're going to look for allies, whether it be Pakistan, Russia, North Korea, Iran, that axis of evil, especially those countries mentioned that have exported terrorism, especially Iran, which I think is one of the biggest exports of terrorism around the world. When you look at Russia, who's just looking for a friend, China's going to continue to reach out to Pakistan and any other country they can to unite against what they think is the world eminent superpower, which is the United States, because they are near peer status right now, and they want to be the most powerful country on the planet. but not to good ends. They will strip mine. They will cheat the market. Since they joined the World Trade Organization, they lose almost every case that's brought before them because they've cheated and they destabilize markets and they create monopolistic practices so that they can price fix. And I think we have to be very wary of that.
But let me also ask you, U.S. President Donald Trump has approved a $400 million Pakistan aid to sustain its F-16 fighter jets for counter-terrorism efforts. Now, you know that firepower is going to be used only against India. Counter-terrorism hasn't really taken off in Pakistan any time that I can remember. So this aid to Pakistan in the face of Pakistan's actually having terrorists in their own backyards, how does this work?
Yeah. So if you give somebody aid, and we do this all the time, by the way, we're the largest donors out of aid across the world. It also gives you leverage. So let's say Pakistan is massing at the border and they're considering an invasion of Kashmir. If the United States is giving you something and then says, you do that, you'll never get support again, that's real leverage. If we don't give them anything, then we don't have the leverage. This is a diplomatic tool that's been used since the beginning of the United States superpower status. When we give you aid and then we say, guess what? If you misuse that aid, if you abuse that aid, you'll never get that aid again. And oh, by the way, that can go both ways. India also has a very strong tie to the United States militarily. That's expanding right now. There's negotiations that I would love to see continue to expand to the point where we get to almost like an AUKUS type agreement where our closest allies share technologies that we don't share with anybody else, weapon systems that we don't share with anybody else. That's on the future horizon, but we need to make sure, once again, when you help somebody, you're also taking a little control. When you accept our help, that means you also accept our influence. And our influence on Pakistan can actually stabilize the region and help India in very real ways.
Okay, so if I were to ask you from where you're sitting, how do you see the current situation between India and Pakistan? Do you think the confrontation is going to go beyond just the angry voices on both sides?
I sure hope so. What I would ultimately like to say, and next time I have the ambassador sitting here on the couch next to me, I will literally look them in the eye and say, I want your government to condemn Muslim extremism. I want your government to condemn the violence in India. I know that's not an easy thing to do, but gosh, what could speak higher of your government than to stand up against something that we can all agree is evil? Nobody can say that that's a good thing. And if you do, then you defended evil. And if you do, you've defined yourself. I think that's the conversation I'm going to have very soon with the ambassador from Pakistan.
And to India, what's your message?
Stand strong with us. Continue to develop those relationships between us. I think economically you will benefit in great ways as you stand against China and their nefarious actions. We can continue to grow our economies together. We have a similar constitution for a reason. We see the world very similarly. We both want peace. We want economic growth. Like Calvin Coolidge said 100 years ago, the business of America is business. I think Prime Minister sees the world the same way. He sees as you continue to expand economically, it will benefit all people from India and thus all people from the world. Wealth can be grown together.
And when you say that you have influence with Pakistan, if I were to counter that with, do you have more influence with Pakistan than China? How would you respond?
Yes, absolutely we do, because we don't give aid to China. Pakistan needs us. China doesn't need us in the same way. Now, China needs our markets, but the way they've manipulated the markets to their benefit is absolutely contrary to fair trade. We will have much more influence over Pakistan than we'll ever have over China. China has goals to supplant us as the world preeminent power, and that puts us on a direct collision course with them. But not with Pakistan. Pakistan understands they will never be China. They don't have the same development of economy. They don't have the same military industry. They rely on us much more, so we have greater influence, of course.
And your conversation with the Pakistani ambassador, has it happened? Will it happen soon? Is he sitting next to you? and has the unequivocal message been given?
So I haven't had, since this attack, I have not had that conversation. But previous to that attack, we've had some very fruitful conversations, conversations I thought were hopeful, that at least the rhetoric was correct. The implications was legitimate elections, justice inside of their own country, good relationships with India. Those things were all substantial conversations we've had before. So I was encouraged by it. But now, proof's in the pudding. We'll see what they say now that the world's eyes are drawn to one specific event. And I hope they'll condemn that event.
Well, on that note, thank you very much, Dr. McCormick, for joining me. We do hope American support will be for the rights of normal, common human beings in India and against the terror that's unleashed by Pakistan almost every other day, along with the several ceasefire violations across the line of control that we've seen escalating over the last week or so. We do hope India can expect that bonhomie and that friendship and support from the United States.
I think you will see that, and I think we're going to continue to grow together. Thank you so much for having me on today. God bless you, and God bless India.
Thank you very much.